Hello class, welcome to lesson number 2, and our topic is the dystopian Western, another type of Western, different from the romantic. So this particular type of Western contradicts the desert garden civilization progression of the romantic Westerns. So somewhere along the line, the desert is just not getting civilized the way it needs to. So a dystopia, in a general sense, is not equal to a utopia, or it's the opposite of a utopia. And a utopia is a perfect society. So think of a dystopia as being a perfectly awful society. And this is what we have happening in the dystopian Western. So the cultivation process is subverted by the corruptibility of human nature. So out on the frontier, something bad has happened, and instead of having a nice town full of nice people, that just isn't really happening. So virtually no character in the dystopian Western is portrayed in a positive light. So the villains are going to be heartless and greedy, as always, but they're going to be a little worse than usual. The townsfolk are going to be cowards rather than being fine, upstanding citizens. And the heroes verge on apathy or impotence. So in some cases, it might take a long time for a hero to actually spur himself to action, to actually do something, or he might just not be able to get the job done. So dystopian Westerns are very different in this respect. So examples of this are High Noon, Terror in a Texas Town, which has a fantastic gun versus harpoon showdown at the end, and the Oxbow Incident, which is our film for this particular lesson. So the Oxbow Incident is from 1943, directed by William Wellman, and it is devoid of most of the romantic conventions or rules that we saw in the romantic Western. So the sense of community, the love interest, the noble marshal, the showdown between hero and villain, the happy ending, those are all gone. None of that stuff exists in this particular Western, which is a very different Western from our last one. So it also shares some surface qualities with film noir. It's a very, very dark film, both in appearance and attitude. So dark visuals, it almost all takes place at night. And it's very, very heavy on the dialogue. There is some action, but it's definitely more about what's going on in these characters' heads than your standard gunfights that you see in a Western. I would ask you to enjoy this film, but it's a pretty dark, very, very heavy film. But hopefully you take something from it.